Budgeting your money is great, but how do you actually keep track of it all over the long run? I'm here to show you the system that I use. The way that I now keep track of my money is undeniably something that I should have done years ago. So if you have any taste in books, you will have either read or at least heard of Atomic Habits by James Clear. One of the principles in this book is systems and just how important systems are. I don't remember exactly the quote. Maybe I'll put it here. The gist of it is that when you have a system that works and you implement it, it doesn't matter about everything else that comes into place. The system is, when you consistently implement a system, that's what helps and that's what works. The system that I'm going to teach you today, and the system that I use personally, is categorizing your own budget. Now, it's all well and good to go through and just have a budget, have numbers on a spreadsheet, and just look at it and go, yep, cool. I'm going to be spending that much money on my groceries. I'm going to be spending that much money on my pets, and breaking it down like that. But that's not realistic. It's not realistic in the sense that I could say that I only want to spend $200 a week or $300 a week on my groceries, and in reality, I'm spending $400 a week. Now, unless I am actively staying on top of keeping track of that, I have no idea how much that I'm spending on my groceries. I could be spending $100 less than I'm budgeting for, but then losing money in other places, and there's really no point in having the budget unless you're tracking it and unless you're categorizing it in certain ways. The way that you need to do this, and the way that I do it, is through my banking app. I use CommBank, which is one of the best apps out there. That's what they say, at least. I don't know, I've never used another one, so I can only speak for CommBank. They have a feature that helps you track your spending, and within that, it helps you have category budgets. So what I'm talking about is every time you make a purchase, it'll be categorized into one of numerous things. So you go through, you set your categories, you set your rent, you set your groceries, your pets, your fun money, travel, whatever it is, you go through, you have it categorized, and you can set each particular one at a certain level. So like we said before, if you got your grocery bills and you want to spend $300, you set it at $300. Now what that's going to do, every time that you go to Coles or to Aldi or any local grocer to get whatever it might be, that purchase and that spending is going to fall into that category and track it in real time. So you can see on the 15th of the month, if you've got a budget of $300 for groceries, if you've spent $200, you're probably not on track to make it to your budget for the month or the week or whatever you set your time frame as, because you can also set a time frame. I personally go month to month because that just makes sense in my head. If you've got 4 weeks worth of groceries to get and you want to spend $300 a week, by the end of the week, you should have spent $1,200 on groceries. So if by the end of week 2, you're up at $800, you know that you're not on track. You should probably cut back. Another really good thing about this is if you've been using this particular platform, in my instance, CommBank, for an extended period of time, you have a whole catalog of evidence and a whole set of data that you can go and look back onto. And I can see in my own spending what months I've spent what amounts of money on what different categories. So I know that if I'm spending heaps of money on entertainment one month and I'm looking at it and thinking to myself, hey, I've spent a lot of money on all of these subscription services and I'm not using any of them, I know that I can then go through and cut those particular things to save myself money and just work my budget around that fact. For this to work the best, you need to have a budget first. You need to have gone through on your Excel spreadsheet or whatever you use to budget. You need to have an idea in your mind of what your spending is, what your income is to supplement that spending. And then once you have all of that in your Excel spreadsheet, then you can go through and set these budgets within the categories within the app. And I know that I'm talking about CommBank, and if you don't have CommBank, this might not be as relevant to you, but I'm sure there are other ways that you can do it. Even if you go through and just look at your bank statements and add it up at the end of the month to see if what you've actually spent is how much you have budgeted for. That's the important thing. And that's the system that we want to set up. We want to set up a system where you're accountable. You say you're going to spend this much, so you only spend this much. You don't say you're going to spend this much and spend this much.